Machinery often surprises and scares people. A class-based society causes people to lose control over the products they create. So people become alienated from their products and see these products as the gifts of rulers and gods. The fruits of people's labor seem like uncontrollable, frightening, mystical things. Machinery, which we cannot understand how it works, also seems like such a thing. The behavior of assigning supernatural attributes to machinery emerges again today within discussions on artificial intelligence. On this topic, we can summarize that two views exist: optimistic and pessimistic. According to the optimistic view, artificial intelligence will create an immense abundance and limitless opportunities, removing poverty once and for all. There were such optimistic beliefs for every technological development predating artificial intelligence, but hunger and poverty persisted even after so many technological developments. We will discuss the reasons behind it in a moment. The pessimistic approach to artificial intelligence already has lots of variety, and it is open to even more variety via speculation. The most realistic concern is that artificial intelligence may take away jobs by decreasing the need for workers. After a few steps, dystopias become the main topic of conversation. Machinery taking control of the world and enslaving or wiping out the human population has been one of the most favored themes in Hollywood for a long time. Let's postpone discussing speculations and remote possibilities of artificial intelligence for a moment. Let's first consider the topic as it currently affects our daily life in the real world. Technological development is the process of people gradually delegating their tasks to machines. Thanks to machinery, achievable tasks in unit time grow in quantity and quality. During the Industrial Revolution, steam machinery began to take over the tasks previously done manually. Thanks to machinery, labor efficiency increased. Every development in machinery took over another part of people's mandatory tasks. A person could weave as many clothes as 100 people. Then, information that was not transferable without months of travel became almost instantly available. Then, distances previously traveled for months became only a matter of hours. Artificial intelligence technology is nothing but the continuation of these developments. Just like a sewing machine, machinery with artificial intelligence takes over some mandatory tasks. Thanks to artificial intelligence, one person is now sufficient to make complex computations that previously required many people to work together. One person searches large databases and finds documents in a short time. Just as in other machinery, the function of artificial intelligence is to save effort. Machinery taking away jobs from workers was also a crucial topic in the first days of the Industrial Revolution. Moreover, just over this issue, an anti-machinery movement called Ludism developed among the workers. These workers did not know how to direct their anger toward a political target, so they took it from the machinery, which made them unemployed. This reactive movement vanished with the coming of the socialist movement, which aimed to bring the working class into power. Developing machinery was indeed leaving workers unemployed. However, economic growth has more or less compensated for this disposition until today. Unemployment and poverty are necessary parts of the capitalist economy. Technological developments in capitalism cause unemployment and poverty, rather than increasing prosperity, because the means of production is private property and is for the business owners to profit individually. Of course, kicking out people is profitable for the business owner. For this reason, technological development just by itself cannot bring prosperity to humanity. As long as capitalism persists, such abundance may not occur regardless of the amount of technological development. Poverty may not end even after producing so many products. For humanity to benefit from the opportunities of technology, private ownership of the means of production must cease. In other words, socialism must come. Then, humankind can plan all its resources for the benefit of all, producing no more and no less than the required quantity while sharing the tasks among everyone. Only then technology may improve people's quality of life. Currently, some people work to the death, while some wait unemployed. This situation cannot occur in socialism. In short, it is reasonable to be optimistic about the benefits of artificial intelligence, but only under socialism. On the other hand, there is also a reason to be optimistic. Artificial intelligence brings the end of capitalism closer and closer. Let's state it from the beginning. No development, including artificial intelligence, can bring an end to capitalism just by itself. The working class has to remove capitalism. Still, material changes may facilitate this overthrow. Profit in the capitalist production cycle can only form by not paying some of the value out of labor to the laborer. Hence, profit is the unpaid part of the labor effort. Capital is this labor accumulated. In the market, the business owner has to pay for everything else: energy, machinery, raw materials, etc. The only thing that remains not fully paid is labor. If the business owner pays that fully too, he would not profit. It is the point where things get interesting in the artificial intelligence discussions. When technology develops, the effort spent on a product reduces and profits decrease. The law of diminishing returns plays a crucial role in the development of capitalism. Capitalism must keep expanding to survive because profits fall as the capital invested in a product increases. Generally, excess accumulation of capital reduces the overall profitability of the system as a whole. Hence, expanding the system through constant investment in new fields is paramount. High-tech production of more stuff with less effort is profitable only if they can sell these products. If the labor effort in a product sold is little, so are the maximum profits attainable from that product. Mass production has to compensate for the fall in profit for every unit product. When that becomes infeasible, a crisis starts. Today, capitalism is hard-pressed from two sides. On one side, we reach the limits of this planet. There are no more fields that capitalism could include and absorb more capital. The in-depth growth of the markets is forced to its limits too. Technologies like artificial intelligence limit the amount of exploitable labor and add to the problems. Business owners cannot forego artificial intelligence and stop kicking out workers due to competition. However, they face two challenges. First, they cannot exploit machinery, so exploitable manual labor and profits fall. Second, if they throw everybody out, they cannot find anyone to sell their products. Artificial intelligence elevates the structural crisis of capitalism to an unprecedented destructive level. In theory, let's assume we have full automation and no manual labor is required. Then, the profitability of any business will reduce to zero. However, such a crisis should be able to collapse the system before reaching that point. Let's repeat this to eliminate any misunderstanding. Capitalism will not collapse just by itself. However, these crises provide invaluable opportunities for revolutionaries to overthrow capitalism. On the other hand, if capitalism survives, people will face severe unemployment, hunger, and wars. From now on, an advancement within capitalism is impossible. However, whether this dilemma brings salvation or destruction depends on the working class's ability to take control of its fate. We may devise the following solution if we force ourselves to save capitalism at all costs. Although business owners cannot stop technological progress due to competition, they can slow it down. What if a giant monopolization occurs and the world belongs to only a few companies? Would it be possible to stop technological progress and push manual labor over artificial intelligence? It would. It is theoretically possible but remains a remote possibility of an unknowable future. Today, things are not going that way. On the contrary, today global capitalism is gradually losing its ability of planned and coordinated action due to the USA losing its world leader status. Before extreme monopolization, the end of capitalism is much more likely. In any case, it would be much harder to defend capitalism in case of complete monopolization. Then, the conflict within the rest of the population will become extremely clear, so people can easily confiscate these few monopolies and transition into socialism. Even if monopolization is achievable, its safety and continuity will always be in jeopardy within the internal dynamics of imperialism and the unknown direction of technological progress. Another reason to be optimistic about artificial intelligence is its ability to facilitate central planning. In socialism, in a country, or the whole world, it is much easier to utilize resources within a unified plan. It is easier to determine how many resources are available everywhere and how much is necessary for every community. A socialist economy is almost trivial to implement with the emerging communication and artificial intelligence technologies. In socialism, artificial intelligence does not cause unemployment. It allows us to work less and use our spare time on sciences, arts, and recreation. In capitalism, progress is not under our control. Capitalism mass produces every potentially profitable product without any second consideration. We can decide what to produce and how much machinery we should use together in socialism. Let's also point out some speculations about artificial intelligence. Does artificial intelligence not gradually become more and more similar to humans? Soon, will it not be possible to attain every human attribute? Under this view, is artificial intelligence not separate from previous technologies? First, artificial intelligence machinery is not getting closer to humanity. It is a misconception due to our daily lives becoming mechanized. Most of us have routine, meaningless tasks, starting and finishing at the same time every morning and evening. Capitalism completely alienates most of us from our work. Such a complete alienation is an attribute of a machine rather than a human. To get closer to humanity, artificial intelligence must gain self-awareness and perceive itself as a separate entity from its environment. It seems unlikely to happen soon. There is no reason for machines to get out of human control. However, after an indeterminate while, this may come to pass. Still, there is no reason to think it will cause an absolute disaster. We create artificial intelligence by encoding our collective wisdom into machinery. Self-aware machines will inherit the historical consciousness from humankind. Perhaps this means the emergence of a new and more advanced humanoid species. We assume the certainty of war between machines and humans due to the prejudice that every difference must lead to a conflict. Note that the class struggle creates this prejudice. Bourgeois writers saw slavery wherever they looked, so they invented social Darwinism. Again, they cannot see anything other than interspecies rivalry in their speculations about our future. It reflects a very narrow worldview about our future. These speculations have little use today. We don't have to travel far away when we discuss artificial intelligence. Diving into remote possibilities and forgetting today's concrete struggles would be a grave mistake. Artificial intelligence facilitates the end of capitalism, and this should be our focus.